Good morning, lovely listeners of GhanaTalks Radio. Good morning, Ghana. You are welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. Here we give you the latest headlines and news making waves all over the country and across board. Here we give you news from politics to business to sports and entertainment and everything in between. As usual, I am your host Esinam Fiagbedu, and joining me in the studio for our news headline review is Miss Regina Bless and Miss Debbie Adozo. Good morning, my gorgeous ladies.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
We are doing good. What of you?
I'm doing fine. Hope you slept well today.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I must say you are looking exquisite this morning.
Thank you very much, because today I'm actually in a very good mood. So.
I'm just hoping there's not going to be any mood swings today. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
So there has been some headlines making waves in the news, and then I want us to dive into it. So let's dive into the major headlines for today. President Mahama to deliver first State of the Nation's address in second term as he resets Ghana with bold economic vision. President John Dramani Mahama will deliver his first State of the Nation's address today, Thursday, February 24th, since assuming office for a second term. The highly anticipated speech is expected to set the tone for his administration's ambitious resetting Ghana agenda, aimed at reviving the aimed at reviving the economy, creating jobs, and restoring stability. With Ghana grappling with economic distress, rising inflation, and high unemployment, Mahama's address is seen as a defining moment to reassure citizens and outline clear solutions. His 24-hour economy policy, a cornerstone of his economic strategy, is expected to take center stage as a game-changing initiative to drive industrial growth, boost productivity, and create sustainable employment opportunities. Mahama's Resetting Ghana agenda focuses on economic transformation, governance reforms, and social development, setting the stage for policy overhauls in critical sectors such as energy, manufacturing, agriculture, and technology. So this is our first news headlines, and it says that President John Mahama is set to deliver his first State of the Nation's address. What do you make of it? How do you feel about it? In his second term, he's yet to deliver his first SONA.
State of the Nation's address.
Yeah.
Addressing key issues of the country. I expect so much from him, and you asked, how do I feel? I'm thrilled, I'm happy, because this is the second time assuming office, and I would say people think he's incompetent, but for someone who is incompetent, I think he wouldn't even have had the chance to be voted in to power again, due to one or two hinges, so people call him incompetent. So for me, I'm very excited. As I stated earlier, what I am expecting from our President John Dramani Mahama for today in his SONA address, first of all, the Boko issue. Just yesterday, we had a story about SHS students involving themselves in violence, which is very bad. So first of all, without peace, a nation is not a nation. Without peace, a nation is not whole. Without peace, we all do not have, should I say, the tranquility we are all looking for. When you look at other African countries and even other Western countries, there are some countries 24/7 they face war issues. We might think that Boko issue is just a minor thing, but it can escalate into to other regions. Because some of BBC, if war happens in Ghana here, where are you going? Where am I going? We don't even have the money to travel outside. If we have the money to travel, I will not be sitting here. So first of all, my main concern is the Boko issue, and also the economic stress we are going through. To tackle this economic stress, first of all, you have to tackle youth unemployment. You have to make sure that the youth are well fed, because the youth are the, should I say, the centerpiece of this nation,
the future leaders.
The future leaders. So if we, the youth, we do not have work to do, and we go about involving ourselves in social vices, do you think this country will be a peaceful country? Let's use the Galamseyers for example. If they had jobs doing, there's no way they would involve themselves in Galamsey.
And I think the reason they are not stopping the Galamsey is simply because they are pleading and calling on the government to create jobs for them.
To create,
if they stop this,
what are they going to
do?
Exactly.
So I think the best thing is to do is to tell them that if you stop this is what we are going to create for you.
True.
And I think with that, it will go a long way.
Let's say my parents telling me that, Reggie, this work you are doing, I don't want you to do it again. For you to tell me that, it means you found another alternative for me.
Another option.
Yes, that is why I'm stopping it. But you do not have any alternative, you do not have any option for me. You just wake up to tell me that I should stop something. Okay, fine. If I heed to your advice, I would, this thing that I'm doing, it might be illegal, but I would rather involve myself in something dangerous than what I'm doing now. And it can also result to loss of life and all that. We are always here, we hear on the news that some youth or some young ladies involve themselves in criminal activities, prostitution, a whole lot, and some of them end up being dead. So he should, first of all, the Boko, and also secondly, our youth unemployment, and also he should find ways and means to stabilize the economy. It is hard for him because as a one person, all this burden on you, have to make sure that all these things are put in place. That is why you have government officials, you have MPs, you have ministers, and also God being so good, you've gotten Council of State to also advise
on the right decisions to take for the state.
So this would really go a long way if he addressed this issue. And also to our young youth of today, most are crying for the betting tax to be scrapped. And also I myself, I'm praying that you also tackle the e-levy and other COVID-19 taxes we have been paying, which to me doesn't make sense, because up to now all this money, we are not seeing the products, we are not seeing what it produces.
And I think he hasn't delivered his address already, he hasn't delivered his message to the state already, but we can see him working. We can see him working already. He has a committee for Operation Recover All Loots. Operation Recover All Loots. He also have a committee, Council of State committee to help him make advice. And
with this overall Operation Recover All Youth, I would like to touch on this a bit. It's only corrupt officials who have issue with this Operation Recover All Loot, because if, let's say, I am innocent and I know that once I started this work, there's no single day I indulged in corruption, I indulged in bribery or anything, there's no way this institute will say that they are setting up a committee to investigate our work, to investigate our attitude towards work. If you come to work and you do all what you are supposed to do you think you have a problem with that?
No.
And especially to Afenyo Makin, the micro mini minority leader. I've added mini to the micro. I feel that you shouldn't have even come out to boldly with your full chest tell us that you would sue the oral team if your name or your properties are being brought up in this investigation. It is telling another story about you. Even if you are innocent, you are not innocent. Let's use Ken Oforiatta for example. He's on the run. Some say he's sick, others say he's on the run. We do not know what really is transpiring between Ken Oforiatta, the special office of the special prosecutor, the lawyers, the police. We don't know what is going behind back doors. But if you are truly innocent of all these accusations, I feel you should just come out and answer all the necessary questions. And the NSA deputy minister also, the lady, she's also on the run. Why are you running? Why are you running? I've remembered the TikTok video. Why are you running? Okay, so that's all I have to say.
So I must say that there's hope. We've seen the president working already, so there's hope for the future. But let's wait for 10 a.m. and let's see what he has in relation. So moving on to our next headline for today. Commander's Sugar Factory to be part of 24-hour economy with 7,500 jobs in the offering. Government intends to operationalize the Commander Sugar Factory soon with the aim of providing about 7,500 jobs. According to the Minister for Trade, Industry and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, who paid a visit to the factory to assess its current state and obtain first-hand information on matters that are hindering the progress of the factory, government has a special interest in ensuring that the factory resumes its sugar production from sugarcane grown locally. We will start planting sugarcane, crushing it and making sugar from here, she announced on February 26th. According to her, the factory will be one of the 24-hour economy factories, and she pledged to collaborate with other stakeholders to ensure that it becomes operational according to the instructions of the president. This is what she said. So the Commander Sugar Factory is going to be part of the 24-hour economy policy, and then they said it's going to create about 7,500 jobs in an offering. And I think that is a good news. At least that is going to help us solve the unemployment situation we have in our country.
So first of all, I would applaud the Minister for Trade, Industry and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari. I got the name right. I would applaud her, because some ministers will come into power, some ministers will be nominated, elected, and certain key factors they are supposed to target, they'll just sit down and rather be implementing new policies. This Commander Sugar Factory has been in existence since our current president, his past administration, in 2021-2020, if I'm not mistaken. The main reason why President John Dramani Mahama initiated this commander, or built this Commander Sugar Factory, was to cut down costs of import of sugar. That is about $300. That is not a little amount of money, it's a very huge amount of money. So let's say annually we import sugar, just sugar. Once we have a factory here, due to one or two reasons, our president wasn't voted into power again. So the next president came into power, that is ex-president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. What did he do about that?
I think the project was abandoned.
And he rather came out to say, sorry to cut this off, let me use the Agenda 111 as an example. Mahama was not the one who initiated it. Akufo-Addo did. But when Mahama came into power, within how many days in office, he is saying that he needs this kind of money, and also he needs to collaborate with the traditional the Christian Council to make sure that this Agenda 111 project is completed. But for ex-president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when he came, he rather abandoned it and was rather blaming John Dramani Mahama, because the phase 1 of the project was to build, and the phase 2 of the project was to take $24 million from the Indian factory. That is outside Indian factory. They are supposed to initiate this money, plow the money into this project for it to yield results. But rather, Akufo-Addo abandoned it. And when John Dramani Mahama was interviewed about this particular Commander Sugar Factory, he boldly and emphatically stated that ex-president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo boldly also said that the Commander Sugar Factory is not their priority. It is not part of their plans. It is not part of their manifesto. So Nana Addo was the one supposed to see to it that the $24 million the Indian was bringing or was investing into this Commander Sugar Factory, he should lead it to take that money and make sure that all these things are being settled. We will always say it's Ghana, wear Ghana, cry Ghana, love Ghana, everything Ghana. This thing I'm wearing, it's not Ghana, it's Shein dress. But we'll be the same person always advertising for Ghanaian product, but we do not buy it. Sometimes you would offer a product, a Ghanaian product, to a Ghanaian citizen, and I say and I say Ghana product, then yeah, papa. China products, we are so much invested into it, and Ghana products are much more. Let's take the issue of importing of rice, for example. We have local farmers here who produce local rice, but when you say that why don't you buy local rice, what will be the response? Local rice they local rice they do you think that if the government invests into this project, the farmers who do that wouldn't have enough resources to make sure that everything is being packaged well? Even common toothpick is being imported. Yemadie tribe is being imported. I remember then time minister for something I've forgotten his name, he made sure that all these things wouldn't be imported again, but still it is being imported. It's like importing of things is so much in our blood that we do not value the things of Ghana. Just King's Bites. I don't know if King's Bites is being manufactured in Ghana here. Is King's Bites?
I thought that I can't tell.
You can't tell. Wait there, we can't tell, so I can't blast them on this one. So for this, as she said, the 24-hour economy will also be used there. 7,500 people will be employed. At least, let's say about 1 million or 10,000 people wouldn't be unemployed. With that, the unemployment situation is just cutting down. The unemployment situation, we are finding ways and means to curb it. So I would applaud the president for bringing up this 24-hour economy, and also I will applaud the minister for trade.
And I think employing about 7,500 people is going to go a long way to solve the unemployment situation we have right here in Ghana. And I must say, we applaud President Mahama and his ministers for that. So let's move on to our next headline. Terminating wrongly appointed workers is necessary. The Deputy Minister Designate for Lands and Natural Resources, Yusufu Sulemana, has defended the government's decision to terminate the employment of individuals allegedly appointed into the public sector without due process by the previous administration. This follows a directive from Chief of Staff Julius Deborah instructing heads of government institutions to cancel all public service appointments and recruitments made after the December 7th elections, citing irregularities and a lack of budgetary provisions. Speaking during his vetting before Parliament's Appointments Committee, Sulemana justified the move as a necessary step to correct procedural flaws and ensure accountability in public sector hiring. When you do something wrong, someone will have to do something to correct it. I cannot imagine a situation where you will go ahead and employ people when you don't have a budget for them, he argued. So this is the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Yusufu Sulemana, who was undergoing vetting yesterday in Parliament, and this is what he has to say about the mass dismissal of workers by the president. What do you make? Do you think it was necessary to dismiss those workers after the December 7th election?
Okay, so in my own honest opinion, I feel it was necessary because you can't. Let me use the free SHS and double track system for example. You implemented this initiative, but what was the necessary step, the major steps you were supposed to put in place for the students to be well fed and for the students to have a better learning environment? Because if they are not being fed well, if they are not sleeping well in well constructed and structured beds, there's no way they can go to school and be learning. So you employ these people, you recruit these people, over how many people at last minute of your tenure, out, is it backdated dates on employment letters? Where is that done? Only in Ghana here, because Ghana is seen as a reckless and lawless country, because there's no way you go to Western country to do that. Whatever you are supposed to do is supposed to go through due process. You employ these people without even thinking of how these people will be paid. The last time one was it, if I'm not mistaken, was it ex-vice president was like, John Dramani Mahama is talking about 24-hour economy, he's talking about combating youth unemployment, and he's sacking all these people. When you were in power, what did you do? You rather give out backdated letters, employment letters to these people to come and do what exactly? If your intentions were true and pure, I don't think that John Dramani Mahama, our president, will sack these people if they truly have qualified certificates and if they were truly recruited in the right process. Or don't you agree with me?
Yeah, I do.
There's no way our manager of GhanaTalks Radio will come and sack all of us, because we all have contracts. We all have rules we are abiding with. Fine, if none of us have contracted, if all of us here were brought here illegally, our manager has the right to clear us out of the system, because we are corrupt, we are toxic. When we say corrupt officials, it doesn't only boil down to our government, it also boils down to you, the individual. Everything is taken as protocol, minimobi waha, to the extent that even if someone is qualified for a job, that person is not employed, but rather they do look in faces and employ people they know, people they have an associate with, people they can benefit from. That is what they are doing. So with this, it is very good they were cleared out of the system. Even the Bible says that they will pick out the bad seeds out from the good ones. So if you are a bad seed, you will obviously be plucked out. You will be removed out from the system. And also, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday I caught across Trade Union Congress saying that they were, I don't know if they were pleading, I don't know if they were appealing or petitioning or ordering the president. I don't know. They were saying that Mahama should halt all mass dismissals. And how would they be paid if proper structure is not put in place? How would this entity of GhanaTalks Radio would just go out and employ about 10 people where they don't even know how these people will be paid? Does it make sense to you as an individual? It is high time we put political partisan things aside. I am NDC, I am MPP. If something is right, if something is going right, if something is going wrong, we have to say it as it is, without mincing words, without sugarcoating it. That is all I have to say.
But I think the spokesperson for the president, which is Felix Ofosu Kwache, has come out to say that in as much as you have been dismissed, they'll call you back and you go through the due process. And if you qualify, you have the job.
Yeah.
So I think, but do you think there would have been a better way to do this rather than dismissing all of them?
It is
because his vice president Baumia has come to say that it is unfair and undemocratic for you to dismiss people of their duty. Do you think there would have been a better way President Mahama could have done this?
Which duty? They've not even started duty in the first place, or have they started?
I think they've started.
And even if you've started work, see, you can even go into a university institute. If you don't have the right document, you'll be sacked. Even SHS or JHS, Mamoko private school, you know. Me, I know. Because I've been a victim to it. If you don't pay school fees, you'll be sacked. Why would you be sacked? Because you've not paid school fees. Even though you are a student of that school, you will be sacked, because you are not going through the right process. So if you that you are sitting there, you've already started working, once you know deep down within you that how I got here was illegally, I was given backdated, it doesn't make sense. Oh, seriously, it doesn't make sense. Because there's no way I'll come and sit here at GhanaTalks Radio and have backdated documents of when I was employed, but by then you've not even started working. You were recruited illegally. And black market schemes.
And I don't know why you've been given a backdated date and you still agree to work.
Exactly.
Or maybe perhaps.
Exactly. And it all boils down to youth unemployment. It all boils down to it. Everything we do, it will boil down to youth unemployment. Because if they had, someone will go to school for how many years? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and still come back. Yesterday, you testified to the fact we met a teacher of mine who is a qualified teacher, but now what work does he do? He's a momo vendor as a qualified teacher. Now our midwives, our nurses, some of them have completed for how many years now? 4 years, 5 years. They are still at home waiting to be called.
With regards to that, I believe once the agenda 111 is completed, there will be jobs for the nurses and the midwives as well. Don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah. So moving on to our last news headline for today, we have Kofi Otchere-Darko appointed presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. President John Dramani Mahama has appointed media personality and CEO of 1957, Kofi Otchere-Darko, popularly known as KOD, as the presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. KOD, a well-known media personality, fashion entrepreneur, and a cultural ambassador, brings a wealth of experience to this role. As the CEO of the clothing line 1957 and the founder of the annual fashion and music event Rhythms on the Runway, KOD has established himself as a respected figure in Ghana's entertainment and fashion industries. Do you think he deserves it? Do you think he's qualified for that, Miss Regina?
Yeah, he's truly qualified, because once I would use Deputy Minister for Agriculture, John Dumelo, for example. Even though I wouldn't say he has not been to school to do all those things, yes, but he has a fair idea. Nowadays we deal with practicality more than theory aspects. We deal with practicality more than theory aspect. There's no way a journalist student will come to an institute and say, please, I want to be employed. I'm a journalist, I'm a host, I'm a presenter, I'm a this and this. And the school you went to, you were not being trained in the practical ways, but all you know is theory. You'll not be employed. So once he's been appointed as the media personality,
as a presidential advisor
on diaspora affairs, he's a media personality and CEO. He's capable. He's capable. He has that unique features to do that job particularly. So I'll say congratulations to him.
Congratulations to you, KOD, and I think you fit perfectly for the role. For you being the presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. At least I think he's competent and has a fair idea to how to advise the president on diaspora affairs
and run things also.
I think he deserves it, and he has the ability and the capabilities to do that as well. So congratulations to you once again, KOD. Thank you so much for joining us on our news headlines review for today. This is where we draw the curtains. Please stick and stay with us. Up next, we have Debbie's Grill.
It's yet another morning. Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we analyze issues of state consent. We do not only analyze issues of state consent, but we make sure the truth is known and the right thing are put in their right places. And as I say, thank you for joining us again, joining me every morning. In fact, I really do appreciate. This work has to do with two people, hand goes, hand comes. And I'm very grateful that every morning you join me on Debbie's Grill. Now today, it's something very interesting and a bit tarnishing. Happened yesterday, and I would like to say something about it. Now, we all know the essence of a vetting committee, and we know that if a vetting committee is not needed or that doesn't provide any essential duties or doesn't provide any essential benefit, then I'm not sure after a person is being appointed, I mean, they will have to vet the person, because they have to know your competence, and also to ensure that you have the nation at heart, or you have the interest of the nation, or the interest of the job at hand. I mean, if it were to be something very normal, I don't think after you've been appointed by a president, you would be allowed to go free. Because one, maybe the president must see something very good in you, a perfect quality, a unique one, of course, that if you're being given the opportunity, you can exploit. And you do not only exploit, because when you explore, the benefits do not only come to you as a person. You are not only recognized, but the institution benefit and the country also benefit as well. But you know something, it looks like of late, when you go to the vetting committee and you are being vetted, they don't even ask you questions that are pertaining your reason for being present in front of the vetting committee. You see, let's take this for instance, where maybe someone is being appointed as a minister of communication or a minister of foreign affairs, and then you get there and questions that even citizens wishes you to ask the appointee, that questions are not being asked. You are being asked questions that are out of the box. Now, similar thing happened yesterday, where the deputy attorney general appointed by President Mahama went to the vetting committee. And before that, let's just look at who is an attorney general, the functions of an attorney general. So the attorney general of Ghana has many functions, including providing legal advice to the government, prosecuting criminal offenses, and conducting civil cases. The attorney general is also the head of the Ministry of Justice. Legal advice, provides legal advice to the government, drafts legislation and vet subsidiary legislation, review agreements for MDAs, and conduct research and make recommendation for law reform. So in short, they initiate and conduct criminal prosecutions, they initiate and conduct civil cases and civil proceedings against the state, they prosecute civil cases on behalf of the government ministries, departments, and agencies. So if someone is being appointed for this particular, into this particular office, when it has to do with the attorney general, it has to do with a lot of things. As I read and as you have heard, they prosecute criminal cases, offenses cases, and we know some cases that are still on hold due to one or two cases, and we know our people, and we know how things are being done in this country, where criminal cases or offenses cases are sent to the courts, where the attorney general will have to prosecute, and at the end of the day, you understand what I'm trying to say. But here is the case where we have a new government and an attorney general has been appointed, he has been vetted, and then we have the deputy minister. And instead of asking questions pertaining all this conduct, his role to play as a deputy, because definitely it's the same thing just as the attorney general would do, it's the same thing you would do. In a way, maybe he will give you a role to play or something. It's the same thing, but it's just like you being an assistant to someone, but the two of you are playing the same role, and then you go about asking him to dance. Now, is a vetting committee a platform of choreography? Is it a platform where we dance? Is it a platform where you go to exhibit your culture, the beauty of your culture? Or is it a platform where we go to speak about the beautiful nature in our regions? No, this is an attorney general, and when it comes to attorney general, their role to play is not a role that has to be downcasted. And you and I know that there are a lot of things going on, and questions need to be asked. How capable is the person? How sure are we that this person can actually do the work very well? questions that, I mean, we the citizens sitting out there may even think that, okay, fine, even without you asking so much question, we can actually judge that yes, he or she can do the work. He can do the work. Oh wow, that's very nice. But no, the minority leader, Honorable Afenyomakin, was asking him to dance because he made a statement concerning his culture and he feels like he should exhibit it. And when the chairman for the vetting committee was trying to tell him that he should withdraw, he said no. They got angry and then they moved out. And I said that the vetting committee, if it is not a necessary or a committee that will not bring an improvement or anything, I'm not sure that we will come out to the vetting committee. But wait, if we think now the vetting committee has no benefit or has no essence, then we should dissolve it. Because I don't understand why I will be appointed and then I'll go to the vetting committee for me to be vetted and you're asking me questions out of the box. Is the vetting committee a dance floor? Is it a place where we go to exhibit or show our skills and our talent in dancing? No. You see, that's why I love it when I saw Muhammad Shaibu saying something about the same issue. One, we should know that the world is watching. It is not only Ghanaians that are watching. The world is also watching us. And two, everything shows, or we are making it known to people that as if we don't know what we are doing. And then it feels like they are playing. It feels like the leaders of the vetting committee, it's like they are playing. And then I feel like it's like they don't, excuse me, but it's like they don't know what they are doing or they don't know what they are up to. Because an attorney general cannot come before the vetting committee and you are asking him to dance. For what reason? That can be after the vetting, after the necessary questions are asked, and then the answers are being vivid enough and you feel like it's okay. Maybe that should be even done after the vetting. But no, they come before the vetting committee and the questions we hear are not even questions we are expecting them to ask. Questions pertaining the office that the person is being pushed to. No, we don't. We ask like 2-3 questions and then that's it. And then the rest is questions that do not even align with the position you are being given to or the position that have been given to you. And it makes us unserious. You see, let's put politics aside and say the truth. It makes us unserious, as if we don't know what we are doing. But that's not the case. And this is not the first time. I can say almost half of the people that came there, the questions they were asking them, 50% of the questions were out of the box. And it looks like they are there to joke. That's why I said earlier on, if we feel like, the vetting committee do not know what they will do, or it's no more necessary, then we should dissolve it. I think that will help. But in a case where someone has been appointed to the Minister of Foreign Affairs or Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Attorney General, Communication, and the rest you can mention, and then when the person gets before the committee, ask questions. That's why yesterday I was happy when we interviewed one of the intellectuals when it comes to these committees and staffs, and he was saying that we should get people, at least we should get people who have knowledge. I'm not saying that those who have been, the group of people who came together to vet these appointees do not have the ability or the capability. No, that's not what I'm saying. But at least when we get people who have the background, if someone is being vetted, is being appointed as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, and then we get people that are into those sectors, maybe 3-4 people, and trust me, it will also cut down costs, because I'm sure the vetting committee will not come and sit down and then vet you and then you go. No, definitely they are going to get something at least. But when we feel like where it has gotten to, there is no need for them to be vetted. After all, the person has been appointed by the president, right? Then let's dissolve it. Because, as I said, it doesn't speak well of us, number one, because not only Ghanaians, it's not only Ghanaians that are watching us. People from all over the world are also watching. And you see, when it happens like that, we as citizens will not also waste our time to sit down and wait, because we know, you see, when you're doing something and people are able to detect what you are up to, immediately you sit down, they know what you will say. And then when it happens like that, trust me, one, the trust in that committee is already lost, and there is no way we are going to, the people of this country will still sit down to watch, because we know that what you will ask will definitely be out of the box. And yesterday I was in a vehicle where I heard somebody say that this vetting committee people, are they even serious at all? One, it shows how unserious we are as well. Because as I said, the vetting committee is a serious committee. It's a committee that have been made for the benefit of the country. Because someone can be appointed and then the person is not competent enough. Someone can be appointed and maybe the person does not have the interest of the work at heart and then the interest of the nation at heart. Someone can be appointed, of it the person do not even care, because what he feels like, yes, I've been appointed because I've been appointed. Maybe I have some kind of cordial relationship with the government or the president. That is why. And so this vetting committee will make us know that the questions they will ask you and your answers given to them will even give us the assurance that, oh yes, he can do the work, she can do the work, she's competent enough, he is competent enough. But in a case where we go and then we say, come and dance, I feel like then we should get them drum and all the musical instruments that will help to exhibit their skills in dancing. If it is dancing, then I'm not sure we'll go there, or drama. Then we should go to the National Theatre, because that is where, drama, when we want to do drama or anything of that sort, it's either in the National Theatre. But when it comes to a committee, this is not just a committee. This is a committee that is set up to ensure that people that are being appointed are up to task, are up and doing. Because we've seen a lot in this country. We've seen cases where they've appointed people and then at the end of the day, we don't even see what they are doing. And even if they are doing the wrong thing, they come out to tell us that they tell us opposite of what they are doing. So when we feel like the committee is no more needed, then we should dissolve it. So that immediately the president announces that I've appointed this person, that's it, go to the office and start working. Because when it tells us that you are being unserious, excuse me and please forgive me for that, but that is the fact. I cannot come to you and tell me I should dance for real. So the Attorney General is now, when he gets to office, he will be dancing. Is that what you are trying to say? That when he gets to office, as it stands now, he will start to dance and be exhibiting his skills when it comes to his culture? No. Let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing at the right time. Exhibiting your culture is also a good thing, but that is not the right place to come and exhibit your dance skills. Just like the minority leader said, Afenyomakin, that he said something that they don't know, the dance they don't know, so dancing bobo boy and stuff. Dancing bobo boy is not wrong. It's also a culture for the Volta region, but the committee, when it comes to the vetting committee, that's not the right place to dance or exhibit your culture. You also have places to exhibit your culture. So with this, how do you expect us to take you serious? How do you expect the citizens of this country to take you people serious? And we'll be saying this over and over again. Today, if it is not this, tomorrow is the other thing. If they are not fighting, if they are not breaking chairs, if they are not scattering microphones and stuffs, then it is another thing. And then we kept on singing the same song. We kept on singing the same song and hitting on the same spot but no change. After doing all this thing, we still see it happening. I was thinking that all this thing will come to an end, because after the chaos, after the chaos where the scattered tables and staffs, and it was all over the place, and then within a few time, it was like there was calmness everywhere. Then all of a sudden, boom. It's funny, but it's not funny. Let's take things serious. When it's a vetting committee, it's a vetting committee. We know what the vetting committee is, and we know their functions, and we know what they are supposed to do. And so, as a leaders that has been appointed into the vetting committee, your conduct out there, even if you don't open your mouth to talk, is actually conveying something to we the citizens. So our conduct is also important. But for me, I feel like we don't really pay attention to it. No, we don't. It's like we play too much, we don't take this so serious, and that's it. But it's very bad. Very, very bad. Because as I said, the world is watching. Just as the way you can take your TV remote and you can switch the channel to BBC or wherever. Someone can also be in Nigeria and other country and just take his or her microphone and then switch it to any station that belongs to Ghana. And then just imagine a whole committee doing something of this sort. What will you say? What type of information is it conveying out there? You know, sometimes you have to sit down and think about all these things. Because, trust me, it does not make sense. It does not make sense. And it does not speak well of us as honorables. It doesn't. So let's put the right thing at the right place as it is. We shouldn't mix it up. As I said, exhibiting culture is not bad, but not before the committee. When it comes to the committee, it's another task to handle. Then when you get to places where you are supposed to exhibit your culture, it's also another thing. Let's not confuse and combine things to convince ourselves. Thank you for making time with me, and don't forget that our very president, John Dramani Mahama, will be giving his State of National Address today. Thank you.
Hello, lovely people of GhanaTalks Radio. It's time for Today in History, and did you know I'm Miss Regina Bliss. So today in history, 1616, the Roman Inquisition ordered Galileo to stop teaching the heliocentric theory. This was because the Catholic Church opposed Galileo's belief that the Earth and planets revolve around the Sun. Today in history, 1942, the U.S. Navy's first aircraft carrier, the Langley, is sunk by Japanese warplanes with a little help from U.S. destroyers, and all of its 32 aircrafts are lost. Today in history, 1885, the Berlin Conference gave Congo to Belgium and Nigeria to the United Kingdom. Today in history, 1962, South Vietnam President Ngo Dinh Diem's palace is bombed by dissident pilots in a failed assassination attempt. Today in history, 1991, coalition planes bombed Iraq forces retreating from Kuwait, killing hundreds and creating the so-called highway of death during the Gulf War. Moving to some interesting did you know facts. Did you know that first computer bug was an actual insect that got stuck in the Harvard Mark II computer on September 9, 1947. Did you also know that first email was sent in 1971 by Ray Tomlinson, who also invented the @ symbol as a way to address messages? Did you also know that the first telephone call was made on March 10th, 1876 by Alexander Graham Bell, who spoke the now famous words, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you"? To our last Did You Know for today, did you know that the first jazz records were recorded on February 26th, 1917 by the original Dixieland Jazz Band for the Victor Talking Machine Company in New York City? I believe we all have been educated enough on Today in History and Did You Know facts. Join me same time tomorrow for some amazing and fascinating facts as always.
Thank you, Miss Regina Bless. Thank you so much for that fascinating facts and historic events that happened long ago. We are so grateful for that. Yeah. So I saw in the news, was it today or yesterday?
Today.
I think today. There's been a gas explosion at the University of Ghana's Bush County, and it has destroyed several stores. Wow. So the authorities are yet to know the real cause of the fire. But it's been stated that it's a gas explosion. But we are yet to know what caused the gas to explode.
It's like this 2025 is all about gas explosion and fire outbreak. And killing. I don't know if the prophecy of some pastors are coming to pass. Yes, yeah, there were prophecy that this 2025 a lot of fire. So when I heard the fire, I thought we would be on fire for God, for God's ministry, but I didn't know that fire would be rather burning our country. And I say, and our bank can be.
Oh no, how can you say that?
Yeah, suspect. But I feel that Ghana National Fire Service. Ghana National Fire Service. This is the time for them to come out and educate the people on how to use our cylinders at home.
Yes.
This incident about this Kumasi lady, the nurse and number three
that passed away.
A whole nuclear family cleared out. This situation is a situation which could have been avoided. It is avoidable, but it still happened. When they called, they said fire service, they don't have car. So I think it's high time they educate people. It's been long I heard them doing this, because I remember JHS way back in 20 something. They came to schools and taught us on how to even make sure we turn off fire when it's ignites small. So I feel the education is very, very needed. Yeah, you know, some people are still ignorant about how harmful the gas or the cylinder can be to an individual or a household.
Oh, okay. Miss Debbie, what are some of the things you think we can put in place, or the measures that can be put in place to avoid such of this event?
I would say the fire outbreak of late has become a necessity for us to look into, but then I feel that it's all pushes to the Ghana Fire Service, right?
Yeah.
Because when issues like that happen, they are the people we called, and they are the people solemnly responsible for making sure that fire outbreaks are minimized. Because if I realize that my house is burned, I cannot just, do I even have the government or the president's number to call? No. The very person I'll call, the number I'll call is the number that has connection or that has to do with the Ghana fire service. That is why it's advised that you get a fire extinguisher. at your home, even in your room. It's very necessary in case of incasity. You see, we are all here and then we don't pray that something bad will happen. You don't wake up in the morning and then you pray that as I'm going I shall have accident. Or
nobody wished for that.
Yes, nobody wished for that, but all this thing happens like untimely or unfortunately, because it's something that you don't even expect that it just happened. And then we need to be very careful. Sometimes I feel that we are also being a bit careless. So
I think we should be vigilant.
We should be vigilant. This one, I'll take myself for example. I can't remember one day I was cooking. I was very tired. I placed the food on my gas, then I went to sleep. I didn't really mean to sleep. I just laid my head on a pillow. All I heard was Deborah. When I was hearing the Deborah, I was hearing it in my dream. I thought I was dreaming. But then it became so. When I woke up, the food was burnt, the pot was burnt. In fact, all the room smoke everywhere. So I think we should be very careful when you are doing.
Careful as well.
When you are preparing food, make sure especially night when you know you are very stressful. If you know you cannot, you are the type that if you lay your head small you sleep. It's better you don't cook, just go and buy food so that you sleep. But when you wake up and you feel like you are okay, then you prepare something. Then our gadgets, we like leaving it on. Especially the socket and stuff. You leave it on. Yes, you can actually charge your phone for about. Sometimes after charging your phone, you leave your charger.
Go to bed.
You leave the charger in the plug. In the plug, and then it will be there for almost 24 hours till the next day. Then you come and fix. It's very bad. All these things. I mean, so we ourselves, even though the Ghana Fire Service, right? The Ghana Fire Service has a role to play. We as the people also have a role to play, and I think that issues that has to do with them not having vehicle today, tomorrow they don't have fuel, and you the one calling have to buy the fuel for them before they come. I think those issues also needs to be addressed.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie, for that contribution. So this is where we draw the curtains for the news headlines review today in history and Debbie's Grill. Right after the news, we have an insightful discussion coming up. Please stick and stay with us.
Good morning and welcome to the Daybreak News on GhanaTalks Radio. Coming up, terminating wrong appointed workers is necessary. Yusuf Sulemana. My PhD was funded by Get Fund, Sremsai. 2025 Hajj Task Force set March 15 deadline for pilgrimage payment. And in other stories, Nepal's selection as running mate negatively impacted NPP's fortunes. KNUST research reveals this business, sports and showbiz is coming. In this morning's bulletin, the news will be read by Awintemi Akansukum. Now let's settle for the details. The Deputy Minister Designate for Land and Natural Resources, Yusuf Sulemana, has defended the government's decision to terminate the employment of individuals allegedly appointed into the public sector without due processes by the previous administration. This follows a directive from Chief of Staff Julius Debra instructing heads of government institutions to cancel all public service appointments and recruitment made after the December 7 elections, citing irregularities and a lack of budgetary provisions. Speaking during his vetting before Parliament's Appointments Committee, Sulemana justified the move as a necessary step to correct procedural flaws and ensure accountability in public sector hiring. Sulemana further stressed the need for a national conversation to prevent outgoing government from making rushed appointments to benefit party loyalists. Instances where you sit in the comfort of your office and select people and recruit them, and we ask them to go home for the proper things to be done. I think it is the way to go, he stated. Now, Deputy Minister Designate for Attorney General and Justice Srem Sai has disclosed that his doctoral studies at the University of Leeds School of Law in England were financed by the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund. He mentioned that the state incurred approximately €20,000 annually for his tuition. This revelation came during his appearance before Parliament's Appointments Committee Wednesday, February 26, 2025. My PhD abroad was funded by GET Fund. GET Fund has on record all the people and how much they have paid. I'll recommend that GET Fund can provide. This revelation comes in the context of a previous report highlighting that several lecturers, including Justice Srem Sai, benefited from GET Fund scholarship intended to support higher education pursuits. Now, moving to some other stories, the 2025 Hajj Task Force has announced that March 13, 2025 will be the final deadline for payment of the Hajj package. This announcement was made February 26, 2025 at the Hajj Village, Kotoka International Airport. The task force emphasized that no extension will be granted beyond this deadline and urged both prospective pilgrims and agents to adhere strictly to the timeline for the benefit of parties involved. This decision aligns with directive from the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which aims to ensure a smooth and well-coordinated pilgrimage process for this year. The task force has called on all prospective pilgrims and accredited Hajj agents to expedite payments and complete all preparatory procedures within the stipulated time. In a bid to facilitate a seamless Hajj experience, the task force has implemented measures to assist fully paid pilgrims in acquiring their passports with ease. Accredited Hajj agents are encouraged to take advantage of this initiative to streamline the process for their clients. Additionally, the task force has recently reduced the 2025 Hajj package fee from 75,000 Ghana cedis to 62,000 cedis, providing much needed financial relief to potential pilgrims. This move is expected to make the pilgrimage more affordable and accessible to a broader segment of the Ghanaian population. The task force remains committed to delivering world-class services and ensuring that all Ghanaian pilgrims enjoy a safe, comfortable, and spiritually fulfilling journey. For more information, interested parties are to contact the head of corporate affairs at the Hajj Village or at the Hajj Task Force. Now, moving to some other stories this morning, the selection of Dr. Matu Opoku Prempeh, popularly known as Napo, as a running mate of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had a detrimental effect on the New Patriotic Party's fortune in the 2024 general election. This is a conclusion of a study conducted by the Department of History and Political Science Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The study reveals that 85.45% of respondents are aware of Dr. Prempeh's candidacy. However, opinions on his influence are divided, with 47.29% believing he negatively impacts the campaign and 32.24% viewing him positively. Satisfaction with Dr. Prempeh's performance is largely negative, with 36.31% very unsatisfied. In contrast, Dr. Yao Osei Edichum is preferred by 53.14% of respondents as the ideal running mate and is seen as having the most positive impact by 58.56%. The research on the prospects of the 2024 election, conducted by the Department of History and Political Science at the KNUST, was based on public perception and preference of the NPP's vice presidential candidate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Lead researcher Professor Samuel Edujemfi sheds light on the findings. Professor Edijemfi made some recommendations for Dr. Opoku Prempeh's candidacy going forward. The running mate in any political party should potentially, if not galvanize support, serve as an icing on the cake of the campaign. He warned. Dr. Amache Boateng, a political scientist at the KNUST, also cited public dissatisfaction towards the NPP's running mate. The conclusion of the findings indicates that while Dr. Prempeh is widely recognized, his candidacy faces significant challenges due to dissatisfaction and mixed perception of his impact. To business, the Ghana Union of Traders Association (GUTA) has expressed optimism about the 2025 budget statement, urging the new government to implement policies that will foster a more conducive business environment. GUTA believes that streamlining the tax system and reducing taxes, duties, and levies would help alleviate the high cost of doing business in the country. In a February 26th press release signed by its president, Dr. Joseph Obing, stated that the government's assurance of reducing business costs is a step in the right direction. The association outlined key expectations from the upcoming budget to support business growth and economic stability. GUTA is hoping that all nuisance taxes will be scrapped to considerably prune down the number of numerous taxes that impede the growth of businesses in the country. The association is also urging the government to introduce unconditional tax amnesty as a stopgap measure in its quest to broaden the tax base and to ensure non-tax businesses are enrolled into the tax net, and also allow businesses with tax irregularities to normalize their tax obligations to optimize government revenue mobilization. Now to some sports. Women's football communications lead Matilda Di Meadow has remarked that results on the pitch under former Black Queens coach Nora Houghton were not always positive before the Swiss tactician left to join Zambia's Cooper Queens. Her comments follows the Black Queens' first match under new coach Kim Lars, who lost to Morocco in a friendly game after being appointed head of the team's participation in the 2025 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Di Meadow shared these insights during an interview on Football Made in Ghana with host Bernard Abeku Ochri Wednesday, February 26, 2025, when asked about Hofstil's tenure. Despite an impressive 10-game unbeaten run that saw the Black Queens score 34 goals, Hofstil's final 4 matches ended without a win. Losses to Namibia and Zambia over 2 legs in the 2024 Paris Olympic qualifiers, and a friendly defeat to Japan. The unbeaten streak began with a 3-0 friendly win over Benin, followed by a 3-0 and 1-0 victory against Senegal in a double-header friendly. The team then secured 3-0 and 4-0 wins over Guinea in the 2024 Paris Olympic qualifiers, followed by a 7-0 and 5-0 triumph against Rwanda in the 2024 WAFCON qualifiers, a 3-0 victory over Benin in the first leg of the 2024 Olympic qualifiers, and a 3-1 win against Namibia in the 2024 WAFCON qualifier final rounded out of the run. With the women's AFCON looming, Kim Lars' side will face Senegal in the March-April international window as part of preparations for the tournament scheduled for July. To showbiz, President of the Republic of Ghana John Dramani Mahama has appointed media personality and creative entrepreneur Kofi Ochridako (KOD) as presidential advisor on diaspora affairs. KOD confirmed the appointment to Joy News Wednesday, February 26th. With his extensive experience in connecting Ghana with its global diaspora, KOD's appointment underscores President Mahama's commitment to strengthening ties with Ghanaians abroad, fostering investment opportunities, and enhancing cultural and economic collaboration. And that's it with the Daybreak News. on Ghana Talks Radio. Log on to www.ghanatalksradio.com for more of these stories. The news was read by Awentemi Akan Sukumasi. Thanks so much for making time. Good morning.
Breakfast.
English breakfast. French fry.
Koko Nikosi. Alo Komi Kesheto.
Wachi.
Well, Gobe is the real deal. Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sport, and all trending stories live on our mobile app, and also follow us on our socials at GhanaTalks Radio.
From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with me, Pakwesi Obare,
Deborah Adolso,
Regina Bliss,
and I am Esinom. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
Good morning, and I welcome you to Ghana Talks Breakfast Show on Ghana Talks Radio. This morning we have a whole load of discussions to have in the studios. In the studios with me is my ever beautiful AC Nam.
Yeah.
What's up?
Cool, man.
Today you are in high spirits, so.
Really?
Yeah, I can see. You are. And also, the very gentle, knowledgeable, insightful, doesn't want to be called honorable, also doesn't want to be called a lawyer yet.
This is Ghana Talks Radio.
Yes, my guest in the studio is Mr. Dubik Steven. Dubik.
You want me to say good morning, madam?
Oh, you people.
I don't say good morning, madam. I just say good morning. Good morning, bro.
Oh, but my voice has been thickened since then. I can feel some baritone in my own voice.
I don't understand why the man kept calling you madam. The first day I came here.
I mean,
say madam, now we throw tea. Say I'm a man. You still say I'm madam. So good morning to everybody. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody in the studio.
Yeah.
It is great to be back again.
Sure.
I always come on Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
And I'm always itching to come for the Thursday to come.
Yeah.
I wish I could come from Monday to Friday.
But
there are a lot of duties and responsibilities on our shoulders we have to, take care of too. So I think the 2 days the listeners will bear with me and take it like that. As time goes on, we will reschedule, adjust our time, and then be able to add a few more days.
From the big. You are with us on Ghana Talks Radio. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. Some people are finding it difficult to call it X.
I still call it Twitter. X, if you say X, it
be some way. I mean, it brings me a whole lot
of memories.
Not memories, but
it's okay. Let's move on. Also, you can join through our WhatsApp number 0202544614 0202544614. Let's hear from you. Let's hear your comments, your views, and your suggestions. Whatever we are discussing here, make sure you get interactive with us, and we will be responsive to you as well. Now, this morning we have. Before we go into the topics this morning, yesterday. Vetting went on again for the deputy ministers, and there was a whole lot of drama. Can we ever have a vetting without drama?
Without drama and chaos.
I mean, the minority leader wants someone to dance to him.
Dance
at the committee.
Was it really necessary?
During the vetting process?
Come on.
And another person rubbished the movie industry. Like, I mean, how is vetting supposed to be? Let's be honest. We are vetting them for a position.
Yeah.
How is it supposed to go?
Vetting is an interview.
Yeah.
Okay.
The vetting that they do in Parliament is the it's the interviews we do in our offices when we are recruiting.
Okay.
There should be a panel.
Okay.
That is the appointment committee.
Okay.
They should ask questions about your competence. Sometimes you can get somebody asking you questions that does not relate to what you're going to do, but it shouldn't be excessive. I've been asked what turns you on in an interview before. What turns you on?
What turns you on?
Yes.
What job were you applying for? Yeah, I mean,
I was applying for a sales executive.
Sales.
Yes.
And what has turning on got to do with sales?
What turns you on?
What turns you on? It didn't make any sense.
Yes.
But after the interview, the person who asked the question approached me and then explained to me why he asked the question.
Okay. It seems I have an idea.
Sometimes it is supposed to test your temperament. When you get angry, they will know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are certain questions that they ask at vetting and or interviews and all that does not relate to whatever you are there for.
Okay.
But it is supposed it's just to measure your composure and how you react to certain issues. But I think that we are overdoing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the vetting, the minority is overdoing it. For instance, if you ask somebody to tell us the botanical name of prekese. Somebody asked that question 3 days ago or something. What is the botanical name for prekese?
He asked Tumelu, right?
No, I don't know who exactly it was, but I think I chanced upon it on X. I wanted to say that on X. And then
name of prekese.
Yes, but what has that got to do with anything?
Well,
and then we move into the next day, and then somebody says, "Be serious. Don't go and be like you are in the movie industry."
Yeah, I think that was.
Are you saying that the movie industry is an unserious industry? You see, one we have the wrong people in Parliament. For crying out loud.
Is that not too harsh?
I'm not being too harsh. Do you know how much Hollywood contribute to the US economy? Do you know how much Bollywood contributes to the Indian economy? Do you know how much the Korean movie industry contributes to them? Do you know how much Korean series generate on Netflix?
Yeah.
Do you know how much Netflix generate and contribute to the US economy? We all watch Netflix here.
Yeah.
I have Netflix. Yeah. Sometimes I don't even watch. Other people watch for me. But we pay, and the money doesn't stay here. It goes there. So imagine how we see how policy makers MPs who are supposed to make rules to govern our movie industry seize the movie industry.
It tells a lot. Yeah.
How are we supposed to grow? And he's representing a party that promised to build cinemas in every region in the country. So you knew it was an unserious industry, yet you promised to commit our resources into building cinemas for an unserious industry. Why do we have the National Theatre? No,
he was just giving him a caution
that he should be serious.
Yeah.
Not like he's in the movie industry.
Yeah.
He added that. He added that. You see, acting is a serious business. If you are not a serious person, you cannot jump into character. Somebody you are not. Sometimes they can ask you to play a madman and you play it. If you are not a serious person, can you just jump out of character and play a madman?
But I don't think he meant acting wasn't serious. I mean, two truths can coexist.
No, do you have the video?
No, I don't.
I think production should do us a favor and play a video. You will get it from my point of view if you watch the video again.
See, I am actually getting you. We have the video, I have it. I'm getting your point, but I'm only trying to let you also get my point from his point that it could be he didn't really mean to downplay the creative
we all know John DeMello
industry. Yeah.
We all know John DeMello.
Yeah.
Do we see him to be an unserious person?
The guy is very serious. Very serious.
Look at what he has achieved in the space of 8 years.
Yeah. I mean, just going into politics and agriculture.
In agriculture.
In the space of 8 years, he started this journey after
I mean,
2026 when NDC lost power.
2016,
yes, 2016 when NDC lost power.
Yeah.
And look at what the man has achieved.
Honestly, he needs to be.
So you cannot say, you cannot advise such a person on seriousness because he's a serious man.
We get it. He's very serious. But all I'm saying is that the MP, I think, didn't really mean that he is not already a serious person. He only meant that he should be more serious now that he's, taking this huge position.
You see, I get your point. Trying to, dress what he said. You are just engaging in the fashion and artistry. What do you call it? I don't know the right word to use. You're just trying to make it look nice, fashionable. You get it? But the whole thing, if you listen to what the man said in Parliament, it was a non-starter. Sometimes,
yes,
if you are about to talk, gather thoughts. Whilst you are talking, analyze your next sentence before you even bring it out.
Sure.
And I think that is something that most people struggle to do. Sometimes people say things to me that my normal response, my everyday response would have been an insult.
Yeah.
But
you
once it's about to leave my mouth,
you reflect.
Exactly. My brain prompts my mind to say, no, you can't say this here. Maybe in a different place I would have said it.
Yeah.
But here you can't. So you just have to restrain yourself and then come up with something diplomatic. He could have said it in so many ways.
Yeah.
What he said, he could have said it in so many ways, but he chose that direction to go. And look at Afenyo Maken's conduct yesterday. You ask somebody to dance.
But do you think that I don't know how his position has been defined, but do you think he's been exerted so much power?
No,
he's now abusing it.
They have allowed him to think that he's powerful on that committee, which he's not. The power on that committee lies in the bosom of the chairman, the chairperson of the committee. But you know what? NDC is trying to not allow the whole thing to be confrontational.
Okay.
You see, one thing MPP forgets is that even on the privileges committee, NDC still have over 2/3 on that committee. So whatever you say, whatever you do against NDC member of parliament, or if you do something wrong in parliament and you're recommended to go to the privileges committee, you go and meet a number of NDC people, and if NDC takes a position that you should be sacked from parliament, you will be sacked. Your 88 minority cannot save you. So if you remember, the chairman told him he's lucky he's not citing him for contempt of parliament.
Yeah, he did.
In if I say something against Afenyo, the honorable thing to do is apologize. I always use this example. Right now, I go home, I get home, and then I see my next door neighbor, a kid sitting there hungry.
Yeah.
I remember, yesterday I ate banku, so there's banku left over there, so let me give to the kid. The kid has not eaten since morning till in the evening. Then I give the kid the banku. The kid eats the banku, and since he has not eaten since morning, he gets stomach pain.
Reaction.
Okay. So the parents now come home, see their kid in pain. They take their kid to the hospital. Was my intention to hurt the child?
No, it wasn't.
So is it wrong to apologize when they come back from the hospital?
Well, it's not wrong to apologize.
Good. The point I'm trying to make is that in as much as Afenyo might have felt that what he said wasn't wrong, the chairman was offended by his words.
Sure.
So the right thing he could have done was apologize and retract. I think that the minority have been looking for problems to be confrontational today. You know what today is?
Yeah.
Today is the reading of the Sona.
Yeah.
You see what they will come and do in parliament today. You'll be here. Based on what happened yesterday. You see what they will come and do. I think last 2 weeks or something, when they refused an Escumi from speaking in parliament, they organized a press conference and reminded the NDC that today is the Sona, and if they claim they won't let the MP speak, they will show them today.
So you think whatever happened yesterday was intentional?
It was intentional. It was preparation for today.
Wow.
So it's like a continuous event.
Exactly.
Preparing.
They've been preparing for it. You see what they'll come and do in parliament today.
Okay.
And one thing they are averting their minds to is that parliament won't come to a standstill without them. NDC has the numbers to form quorum to do business, to take decisions. And
even now, I've seen some of the MPs who were already sworn in for the NPP are being summoned by the courts regarding their swearing in. So they might still lose some people.
Exactly. So the best thing to do is that when you are in this kind of situation, the best thing you can do is be less confrontational.
Okay.
NDC the people who contested these seats, NDC can compensate them with positions and tell them, let it go. But if you keep on poking them, they will end up coming after you, and you might end up losing more seats. You do remember that another press case wasn't a case until he made that statement about what do you call it, Blakuma North, that they should beat. It wasn't a case.
They would have let it go.
They hadn't served him. They were looking for him to serve him, but they hadn't reached him yet. Nobody went back to the court for a substituted service. Until he made that statement, they went back to the court for a substituted statement. So if you do these things, you bring hell upon yourself. And I think that it's about time we allow the nation's interest to supersede our political parochial interests.
Okay. What do you mean by that? Do you think that the NDC was being lenient with contesting or arguing these seats by trying to let some of it go without serving any or even contesting it in court? Do you think they were less lenient?
Of course.
And in that sense, they were trying to put their both stance, political, whatever, ahead of the nation's interest.
When you win elections You have to be magnanimous in your celebrations and the things that you do. In as much as you feel you are right, in as much as NDC feel that they are right, to foster cohesion and in nation building, I think that there are some of the seats that they shouldn't contest. They should let go, because whether we like it or not, Amadou Mpre has been in parliament for quite some time. He knows the rules in parliament. He can help in making laws. He can criticize the works of government properly and gets the government to set up. Normally, it's not just about I want power and everything is about me. Sometimes your opponent can criticize you in such a way that if you are going wrong in certain directions, you can correct yourself and set up. So I think that we need those kind of people. I actually am really hurt Mensah Bonsu is not in parliament right now.
Okay.
I'm really hurt, even though there are some excesses of Mensah Bonsu, but I think that he knows the rules and of parliament. If he were to be there, a lot of the things that we are seeing now wouldn't happen.
So, but then also, that brings us another conversation that those in there, those in substitution for those who are not, or even Amadou Mpre, which you think might also lose his seat if, I mean, it goes as the NDC are fighting for. Are you trying to say that the substitutes being there and those who are not, like the Bonsus, Mensahs, the substitutes are less competent to these ones?
No, I'm not saying they are less competent. I'm talking about experience, and there's a clear difference between experience and competence.
Okay,
you get it.
Okay.
In this scenario, I think I would look for experience ahead of the inexperience grooming. You get it. Where our country has gotten to, we are in a dire economic situation. Ghana has never been here before.
But then, I mean, these people were elected upon by people of their own constituents.
Yes.
So if they were that much experienced and all, as we see, why weren't they, I mean, elected and given to the ones we think are
as it stands now,
experienced?
As it stands now, according to the EC data, they are the legitimate members of parliament until ruled otherwise.
Okay.
You get it?
Yes.
So the people who are not in parliament, the people who are contesting, are not yet MPs. So I wouldn't use allegiance. I would have preferred to use a different word, but I don't have that word for now, so I'll find it later.
Okay.
My sympathies would go to the people who are, according to the EC data or the EC declaration, MPs now.
Okay.
If the court says otherwise, set aside the EC declaration, then we can talk about something else. Then we can talk about what you're saying. But until then, these people are members of parliament. And if NDC doesn't contest it, they are still members of parliament.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm fighting with you. You slap me, I don't slap you. Where's the fight? The fight has ended.
Well, it has. But I mean, in all these things happening, the chaos, the misunderstandings and all, how is it going to affect Parliament's activity in this ninth Parliament? Because we've seen that right from the onset, there's always been this strife between the two, parties.
The mistake that the minority is doing is that they think it is the 8th Parliament, where it was 137 plus 8. It's no longer like that. It is 88 against 180 something.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
So, in as much as these things have the tendencies of affecting government business and parliamentary procedures, I feel that with the numbers we have right now, whatever you do as minority wouldn't affect government much. The minority can decide to boycott the sitting, and the sitting will still go on. Whatever decision they need to take will still go on. But the thing is that, will the decisions make impact without the minority's input? I would wish that we don't get there to the point that the minority wouldn't boycott issues and leave the majority alone to take decisions.
Okay.
I would wish that the minority stayed in parliament, made input to the policies that will be brought on the floor of parliament, laws that will be brought on the floor of parliament, so that going forward we will have the input from here and here. One of the cardinal sins of the Fourth Republic is NPP boycotting parliament in 1992, in 1993.
Okay. What was the consequences?
Well, that entire parliamentary session and governance became a one-way thing. Everything they brought went through. Nobody to scrutinize it, nobody to oppose it, nobody to question it. And I will hate for that to happen now.
Okay.
Because where we are, we've moved on from those stages. I think that we've understood democracy better. And that democracy is you speak your mind, I speak my mind. Majority wins. If sometimes the majority can take the input of the minority and add it to the policy and make it great.
Okay. Now, before we end all these vetting issues, do you think that the chairman, whom in your submission has made it clear that he has the utmost power amongst the committee members, do you think he has been weak? Because looking at how, in fact, most people even think that Afenyo is the chairman.
Yeah.
Because he's been, if not wrongly said, dictating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't see it as weakness. You see, I think that everybody has his or her own leadership style.
Okay.
And sometimes what you start is what becomes endemic in people's head. I met Isinami yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I was with my daughter.
Yeah.
She was angry. My daughter was angry. Do you know why? Because normally every day when I'm the one picking her from school, if I pick her from school, I carry her lunch box for her. But unfortunately yesterday I had other engagement and I had my bag with me. So when I picked her up, I decided that I cannot take
her lunch
box and hold my bag at the same time and hold her hands. She frowned all the way from school till we got home. So it is something that the chairman has indulged. He has indulged Afenyo Markin to a certain level that Afenyo Markin feels entitled to the things that he does.
Yeah.
I think that when I've forgotten Joe Wise was the chairman for the appointment committee, he wouldn't have tolerated 1% of what Afenyo Markin is doing today. And that was Joe Wise's leadership style.
Okay.
And I feel that if somebody is magnanimous to you, you don't abuse the magnanimity. You get it? You don't abuse it. Show some respect. Respect the chair. But if he says retract and you say I want to retract, I'm sorry, I won't retract, you are being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Even if he's a young guy, if you are older than him, if you have parliamentary experience than him, per his position, he is your chairman. Do you think does Afenyo Markin think that he's the only sensible person in Efutu? There are more sensible people. There are scholars who come from Efutu, but in lieu of the fact that he is their MP. If these people meet them, they still call him honorable. So that is what Afenyo Makin should have at the back of his mind when he sits there on the vetting committee, that in as much as I'm here, in as much as he has been magnanimous to me, in as much as he has tried to avoid confrontation and allow me to do certain things, let me be moderate about what how much I do. Okay. You are asking somebody to dance, what do you call it?
Is it no? The name of it is Api.
You're asking somebody to dance Api.
Yeah.
How does dancing Api contribute to the position that he is going to do? I understand you ask certain questions to provoke a reaction or see how calm the person is. And then one thing about Afenyo is that he asks you a question and then he says, "No, you are not under cross-examination." But he expects you to answer yes or no questions.
Yeah.
Where do we ask yes or no questions if not under cross-examination? If I ask you yes or no questions, it means that I have an agenda that I'm pushing you to admit. And no lawyer will sit down for you to ask him yes or no questions and he will not explain.
Yeah.
When you ask him a question that demands a yes or a no question and he feels that the no or the yes would create an impression, he would explain. And that is what Justice Rimside did yesterday. You get it? So I think that at the point too, Afenyo Makin felt that he wasn't much for Justice Rimside when it comes to law and all that.
But was that the case?
It was. The man is intelligent, I tell you. He's a lecturer. You know that, right? Yes. The man is intelligent. He wasn't a match for him. So I get sometimes the intimidating tactics and all that, but it's a flaw of parliament.
Yeah.
Let's treat people with respect. Let's honor the people who sent us there.
Sure.
And let's build a nation with us all coming together. Not with this faction here, this faction there, pulling him down, trying to tear the nation apart. There's no MPP area here and there's no NDC area there.
Yeah.
We all are in Ghana and Ghana is one. NDC MPP came and met Ghana. They will go and they will still be Ghana. Even CPP is gone.
Okay.
UGCC is gone, but there's still Ghana.
There is still Ghana. So Ghana first. As the big pot said, let us hear from you as the conversation evolves on all our social media platforms. You can send your comments, your views, your suggestions, whatever it is that you have on mind. Let us hear it here. Also, okay, no, wait. I was about to raise a question, but I know where Dubik will take it. So it's okay.
Where will I take it?
It's okay. Dubik.
We are in this room now.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't even have TNT to take it anymore.
The TUC have condemned the mass revocation of recruitments by the current administration. And they are very, very, very angry about it. Very angry. Like,
I thought they were appealing to the government to reverse it.
I mean, appeal. In fact, they want him to do it. Their letter doesn't seem like an appeal.
An appeal.
Yes.
I see.
Two-page letter.
Yeah, it's like, stop it. I mean, we don't like it, so stop it.
Okay.
But what do you make of it? Because, I mean, both sides, in regards to this particular issue, one side has so many condemnations about it, the other side has so many justifications.
This issue, have you heard about the Apollo 956?
No, I haven't.
Okay. There were a group of 956 people who were dismissed by the Buzia government.
Yeah.
Who are the Buzia people now?
I don't know.
MPV says they are the Buzia Dombo tradition, right? Buzia Dankwa Dombo tradition. Your forefather, a principle and ideology you stand by, are dismissed 956 people. And those people went to court and actually won against government.
Okay.
The precedent that was set was that Buzia came out and said no court can force an employer to work with an employee. But have you seen that when they are talking about this sacking, they never mention that?
Yeah.
That was where the precedent stemmed from. That was the precedent. I am tempted to believe that TUC didn't exist then. There was no TUC then. So I understand if I cannot find any letter condemning that act in the past. But TUC existed in 2017. We had TUC. I know people who lost their jobs in 2017 because government has changed. These people weren't employed even later part of the Mahama administration. They were employed, some in 2012, some in 2013, some as far back in 2009. People lost their jobs just because a certain government employed them. But TUC kept quiet. They didn't write letters. I understand these people are Ghanaians.
Yeah, they are.
And John Mahama and the NDC was elected to serve Ghanaians.
Yes.
To give Ghanaians jobs. These people are Ghanaians who already had jobs until they came into power.
Yeah.
But one question we should ask ourselves is that Ofoyata went to Parliament in 2022 and placed a ban on public sector employment.
Yeah.
When was that ban lifted? Because the fact that every budget becomes a law after it has been agreed and passed by Parliament. So that's why if certain tax components within a certain budget is to be repealed, it has to go back to Parliament to be repealed. When was this ban lifted? And if they lifted the ban, how much did the outgoing administration budgeted for these people? You see, I said this I think last week when I said that you write your handing over notes 6 months prior to elections. Okay. So it means that NPP government wrote their handing over notes in June.
Okay.
And you employed people. Those handing over notes include the labor strength of the government, the number of people employed in the public and civil sector of the government.
Okay.
So you employ people after you lose an elections or after you've written your handing over notes. How do you then add them? How were they added? You see, this is not the first time this thing is happening. Do you remember the single spine salary structure?
Yeah.
Do you know when it was introduced?
I think it was in 2000?
2008.
2008.
It was introduced when Kofo was leaving power, when he had already lost elections. He introduced it and then left it on Atamils to come and fix the mess. And you can the whole Atamils administration suffered the consequences of that.
Yeah, I remember so.
We cannot build a nation like that. We cannot build a nation like that. When somebody feels that because I have lost elections because I'm leaving power, let me push my people. Where were you the last 8 years? If you really needed to employ these people, why didn't you employ them earlier?
There wasn't space then, but there was space now.
How did we create this space? We are looking for physical space to even complete agenda 111. out of 111 hospitals you promised to build, you built only one. And even that one, you've not even equipped it. You are living.
COVID happened.
You are living behind. You are living behind 1.7 billion dollars of financial commitment to be able to commit to complete those agenda 111.
Yeah.
You see, that's another interesting story because last year, the Minister of Health then, Okoboy, mentioned a whole different
7 billion
needed for
7 billion, 7.6 billion. He sat on Asase Radio and made that claim.
Yeah.
I mean, and what do you call it? Dr. Nsiasare sit on the same Asase Radio. Nobody asked him anything, and now makes claims that it's only 1.4, not 1.7. so
they are disputing Mohammed's figures as well.
And they are not their defense is not even coherent. It's incoherent, justifying this to what Okoboy said.
Yeah.
If I'm the host, or if I'm the host of a program, and you come here and sit down, you say something, and you go, and the following day, Pakwesi comes in here, says he and you work in the same area, and also say something else. I'll now bring your what you said and but Omari sat down and said this and said that. Was he lying?
Yeah.
Nobody asked him that, and he just went there in the name of I'm here to defend my integrity because I was the coordinator for Agenda 111 Secretariat. Why do you even create a secretariat for Agenda 111 when we have the health ministry building hospitals all the time?
I mean, that has become the norm. Everything, secretariat, committee, even under this government. Yeah. So many committees. Why?
It's too much. You see, I understand that sometimes there are certain things that you have to bring people on board, listen to their opinions and all that. But there are certain things you have to take a bilateral decision. Only you say you gone.
And moreover, there's a policy or an agenda under the health ministry. We already have a health ministry.
We have the technical people at the health ministry. Why do we need a secretariat for Agenda 111?
I mean, it's just like the ambulance procurement thing, where they had to outsource to a private company, whilst we have a procurement agency under the health ministry.
See, this nation, the nation is sick.
What do you think can cure the nation from their sickness?
Not even prayers.
Honesty. Yes.
Okay.
Transparency.
You need to tell people the truth in their faces, whether they are your relative, whether you are in the same political party or not. My father passed in 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
May his soul rest in peace.
Amen. and he used to call me on every little issue that he had to deal with, especially when it comes to decisions. Not because my father couldn't take decisions without me, but because he felt that I can be honest with him and tell him the truth if he's wrong.
Okay.
And I feel that to build a nation, you need that kind of mentality where people are not afraid to tell the truth, tell you the truth, and even force you to do the right thing. If Ghanaians have to force Mahama and his administration to do the right thing, so be it. As long as we are going to die and leave this nation to our kids, we should strive to leave it in a better situation than we already inherited it. We can't leave a worse Ghana to our kids.
But do you agree with the condemnation by the TUC?
Of course.
Okay.
There are people who were rightly employed. If anybody was rightly employed, I think that they should be given their jobs back, reinstated. But if somebody was employed based on their political colorations because a party was leaving office, that person should be sacked. I remember before the elections, a lady whom I wouldn't want to mention her name here kept on calling me, asking me, "Oh, Kofi Mate said recruitment or GRO uni mu bia or ho me. And I kept telling this lady no, and she kept calling to ask me.
Wow.
In my mind, I could have actually called few people that I knew, but I knew that at that time that she was asking that, they were going to charge her money, and after paying the money, the new government might decide not to even keep her, and your money goes down the drain.
And that's actually something that has been under the news, that
people paid money,
and that's why they are holding the previous government.
People paid monies. People paid monies to be employed, to be enrolled on the employment roster. You get it? So now that people have paid monies to you, you've taken the money, spent it, gone home, and left the burden to the new government. Do you think the new government would want to take that?
So, in this instance, because I want to take it from this angle. Like what the Ofosukwachi came out to clarify the first week that this recruitment revocation came on, that during the transitioning they mentioned this, that it shouldn't happen.
Yes,
because if it does and they come to power,
they
might not. Yes. But the administration, the Akufo-Addo administration, went on to recruit the people. Secondly, the NEIP new boss.
That's a different matter.
Yes, but I'm just saying, to him also, there were some people who were recruited in some form of manner that
their letters were backdated.
Doesn't make any sense. So they also laid them off. It has become a true cry thing. These people are saying there was no budget made for these people to be recruited, so we can't really even pay them out of these budgets. The other people are also saying that we are all Ghanaians. Is it because you've come to power and you want to recruit your people, that's why you are laying us off? Because you might think we are affiliated to the party that recruited us.
Do you know that if a new CEO comes here tomorrow, he can choose to lay all of us off?
Sure.
And not embarrass him from that?
Sure.
Okay. What becomes the issue is the process or the manner he does it. You understand?
Yeah.
Because you need a vision. You need the people to buy into that vision to be able to push the vision. In as much as I don't subscribe to NDC ni or MPP ni and all that, the fact that you employed them when you had lost elections raises eyebrow.
Okay.
They are Ghanaians, so I'm not saying they are not. So how do we pay these Ghanaians? Do you want us to employ them and not be able to pay them, or crash the entire economy because we want us to employ Ghanaians? Do you know the number of businesses that will suffer because we have not been able to pay the public servant? Do you know people who are going to lose their jobs if these businesses collapse?
Okay.
They are Ghanaians. They deserve to get a job. They need a job. That is their right to be employed and to feed themselves and their family. But if their employment is irregular, then I don't care whether they are Ghanaians, whether they are from heaven, wherever they are from. If it is irregular, it is irregular.
Do you think the right thing
to do is lay them off and regularize it if you can? That's why I said that if there are people who were employed legitimately, they should reinstate them.
And with that, I think during Dumelo's vetting, he was asked about that, and he mentioned that those who were rightfully recruited will be recalled. They need to cleanse
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
To feel not 10 years, you recall me and
taking you back to the example you made. Taking you back to the example you made with the CEO coming to lay everybody off, but it depends on the manner. What rightful manner do you think the government should have done this?
Which rightful way okay, and it all boils down to the appointment letters the government gave them. If there are sometimes government can say you are being employed as but you are on probation for 6 months, Within that time, the government can sack you at any time. And most of these workers are on that kind of employment list. Yes, most of them were working under probation for a certain number of time before they can fully. So if you are working like that, you can be sacked at any time. The government doesn't even need to give you prior notice. You just have to tell you, I'm not satisfied with your work, and you are gone. But then there are people who were employed, like us in they are employed, and if they want to lay them off, they will have to pay you off a number of months or give you a prior notice. If that is what they did, if they have that too, they should just give them whatever they are due and let them go home.
Because honestly, we all saw the letter that came out from the chief of staff, and it didn't mention any of that source. He just said that those who were recruited after 7th December should be terminated later.
Yes, if you are basing the argument on that alone, you'll be getting it wrong.
Okay.
You see, in governance there are processes. The letter said what it said, but there are processes to implementing what the letter said. You get it? Okay. So if I say get me water, you have to walk and go get the water. You have to stretch your arm, open the fridge and get the water. You get it? It wouldn't just be get water and then abracadabra. the water comes. Exactly. So the letter says people who were recruited after the 7th December election the appointment should be terminated. But there will be processes to the termination of their appointment.
Okay.
It's not just a rubber stamp thing he says and that is it. There should be processes. Even auditing to know who was employed is part of the processes.
Okay.
Getting to know the person's terms of condition is also part of the process. Looking at the legal connotations of the termination is part of the process. And everybody they didn't get one appointment letter.
Okay.
Everybody has their own individual appointment letters and their own terms of condition. You get it?
And you would think government went through all these things before taking the decision.
Of course, that will be the job of the CEOs and the head of the agencies.
Okay. That's okay. So that doesn't answer your question.
It does.
Okay, all right. Still on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We are live on Ghana Talks Radio. Join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. You can also use the hashtag Ghana Talks BFS, Ghana Talks BFS. Our WhatsApp lines are 0202 544 614, 0202 544 614. Let us hear from you in the comment section on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. On to our last discussion before we move into the next segment of the show, which is going to entail the State of the Nation's address by the President. Very soon it will take off. I think at 10 a.m. right?
Yeah, 10 a.m.
Yeah. So before we move into that, the bill, the reintroduction of the LGBTQ plus. So many
about you.
Yeah, I mean, this bill, we all have witnessed the controversies surrounding this bill, and people feel that it was intentionally fought against in courts when it was first introduced to delay its passing, because they feel that the previous administration didn't actually have any intention of passing the bill. So they just wanted it to be delayed in the courts so that the next administration will come and take that burden.
Yeah.
Because this bill has some controversies surrounding it.
A lot.
Yeah. What do you make of these?
Who are the people reintroducing the bill today?
It's the NDC reintroducing it.
The NDC reintroducing it?
Yeah.
I thought in Team for Joe said he was going to reintroduce it.
I saw something like that in the news.
I mean, in Tim is not the only person who.
I get it.
Yeah.
But the person championing it is the wrong person to champion reintroduction.
Why?
Intim Fojo is a pastor. He's not just an ordinary MP. He's a pastor.
And why is it wrong for him to, lead?
Where was he when the court ruled on the matter 16 clear days before Akufo-Addo left office?
It was just few days for them to leave
16. No, 16. No, I'm coming. 16 clear days. It's not just few. It is 2 weeks.
But what could he have done in that space?
The advocacy he's championing today could have been championed then.
So
okay, we say the court. There was a court issue. There were court cases preventing the bill from being assented to an order.
Sure.
The court sat down, ruled over the matter, gave all clear that the president can now assent to the bill because there was no longer injunction. This happened 16 clear days before the president left office. 16 clear days. How long does it take to sign assent a bill?
It might have to go through some process.
What process again? The processes all had been exhausted. Parliament had done with their work. They were going to transmit it to the president. E-levy bill. When the e-levy bill went to the president, he assented on the bill whilst there were petitions in the court challenging the legality of the bill. Yet he assented.
So you agree with people that it was intentional?
It was intentional. And now what Intim Fojo is seeking to do is just politics. You see, when the bill was first introduced, there were other MPP members of parliament as proponents of the bill. They all pulled out.
Why?
According to Sam George, he said they told him that it was a directive from their party.
So even though they were in support of the bill, they had to step back.
Exactly. Did you hear any MPP person being on radio championing the bill like Sam George and the NDC people did?
Well, I didn't really.
So what changed? If you couldn't champion it then, why are you championing it now?
They've had a change of mind.
Just like that.
Just like that.
You said it.
You see,
it doesn't take much to sign the bill. So
let's not weaponize politics. See, what I see is the weaponization of politics right now. For me, I'm a very principled person. If you don't hear me talk about this today, tomorrow when it comes up, I won't say a word.
Okay.
I'll even pretend I don't even exist.
Okay.
So most often times, you hardly hear people talk about me making a contradictory statement somewhere. And I've been in this space for some time. I wouldn't say I'm very experienced, but I've been in this space, even though I was in the background, but for some time.
Okay.
But if it gets to a point that you kept quiet yesterday and suddenly you find your voice today, some people would ask you, what happened? You were quiet yesterday when this was happening. Why didn't you say anything?
Okay, but aside that, the legality of this bill itself, I mean,
as of now, there's no bill.
Okay, but let's just, because it is being reintroduced.
Not introduced yet.
Yes, it hasn't yet. The intention is there, so it still needs some discussion whether it really needs to be introduced and even assented to by the president. Now, this is where people feel that just as you have your rights to go in for a man, as a woman, you want to be with a man, I also have my right to go in for a man, even though I'm a man.
Amari, I'll wait till you get married. Then I'll come and tell you and your wife that I identify as your wife's husband. I'll wait for you to get married. When you get married, I'll just come after your wedding, I'll say I identify as your wife's husband, and I have every right to sleep on the same bed with you and your wife, and do the things you want to do with your wife. I also do some. People can say they are men. They identify as lesbians.
Yeah.
They are men, no. Identify as lesbian women, and now they'll go and have sex with a woman. Does that make any sense?
Well, I mean, is that right?
No, you say you are a man.
want to.
I'm coming. You say you are a man. You identify as a woman. Shouldn't you be having sex with men?
Well, they don't want to.
The whole LGBT thing is confusing.
See, where the confusion really is here. I think we as a people are championing it based on our culture. We feel like as Ghanaians, we are too religious to, forgo our culture just for some rights of some people constituted by law. These people also feel like we are all human beings. You have your rights by law to do what you want.
Point of correction. Their right is not constituted by any law in Ghana.
Is it also condemned by any law?
See, do you know what they call the carnal knowledge law in Ghana?
No, I don't.
If I go down on a woman, as in give woman a head, it is a crime in Ghana right now. Do you know that?
A head?
Yes, a head.
How?
The carnal. Are you asking me how? That law says that you should use the right tool for the right job.
I think I heard one female minister come out to say that.
If you give a woman head, what is head? Is it, right?
That would be fun.
You put your head on the table. Let somebody chop it off and give it to the woman.
From the right place.
Oh.
So, with that law alone, makes what they are doing criminal. If you want to expand that law, it encompasses the gay, the lesbians, the queer, and whatever you want to call them. Now we want to streamline the law, give it specific identity. You get it? And now people say they don't understand it. Have you removed that carnal knowledge law from our books? And if you say right, you see, the fact that I feel I have the right to slap you doesn't mean that it is right to slap you, or it's not a crime to slap you. I can tell you, oh, my palm itch. If I slap you, I'll feel better. I have the right to make sure my palm doesn't itch anymore. But that right doesn't extend to your chin. You get it? You might think you have the right to do certain things, but once that right becomes a threat to humanity itself.
Well, and that I was actually coming here, so now let's get into it. How does these rights or these people wanting to be with whomever they choose to be with become a threat to us as a nation?
Okay. Have you read? I wish I can remember the name of the topic of this research, so you could read it. According to the research, gay, lesbians, they have the easiest chance to contract HIV/AIDS than a woman to man. So imagine that a gay guy, because of his choice to be gay, contract HIV/AIDS, and in turn get a cut, then accidentally I infect myself. You get the whole point. It wouldn't be right. So in as much as they have the right to do these things, their rights might affect me. And if you would avert your mind to the amount of drugs we import as antiretroviral drugs to combat HIV/AIDS, the amount we use as a state, it is our money. You get it? And we need to build facilities with our taxes to take care of these people. We cannot say the culture, our culture, is our identity. It is what makes us who we are.
Okay.
Without our culture, we are nobody. We don't even exist at all. So it forms part of the basis of our being, our culture. So if something is not known to us, we call it alien. So these things are alien to us. We can't allow something that, even if it was alien to us and it was serving us good, that will be fine. But if it is alien to us and it's going to put our society in jeopardy, why should we do that? You think that if your dad chose another man, you would be sitting here hosting this show?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you.
We are still on Ghana Talks radio show.
We are not. We are not. You have to answer the question.
Madam Omari.
Madam, please answer. So the whole issue is that, for me, I think the West sees the potential of Africa, which is in our human resource, that they will find ways to cut that, to bridge the to make us equal. If you go to Italy, they have the oldest human population in the world. You get it? And how do they make us as in equal? When we were growing up, when we were kids, there was nothing like family planning. No. We are 8 in number. 8. And at that time, when my father is on his farm working, all of us will be there helping. So within a day, we are done with the work that will take like somebody months to do. You get it? And that aspect of our culture scares them. So a lot of things goes at play with this thing. Why are they not taking this to the Arabian countries? Has anybody condemned the Arabians for not accepting LGBTQ? Go there and try it.
But then, do you think it's the West introducing it? I mean,
it is the West pushing it.
How?
Do you remember what the U.S. ambassador said?
That they are not going to they are going to restrict us from some loan facilities if you don't accept. But
and do you know what they did to Sam George?
Restricting his visa.
Until they placed him on money laundering list, so he can't exchange dollars in some of the countries that he goes. Why? I'm in my country. I'm making laws to suit my country people. Why should you be concerned about the laws I make in my country?
So you think the West are behind?
Donald Trump is deporting Ghanaians. Can we tell Donald Trump not to deport people? Why do they think they have the right over us to tell us what to do, the laws we can do and the laws we cannot?
So in conclusion, you believe that if this bill is reintroduced, then the president's assent to it is a great call.
Okay,
it's a beneficial call to the country as a whole.
The NDC has shown commitment that they are for anti-LGBT and they will pass the law. What I would have wished for is the Attorney General adopting the proposal, the bill in its current form, taking it to cabinet, tweaking it. If there is amendment to be made, they should amend it and now present it as a government bill, government sponsored bill, instead of it being the private members bill. You get it? But be that as it may be, if it doesn't go that route and a private member, anybody aside in Team Fojo, decide to introduce it in Parliament, I don't have any problem. They should sign it and make it law.
Your entire problem is with
in Team Fojo. I just don't like people who act as if they are hypocrites.
I'll tell you. So this is what
I didn't say he's a hypocrite. I say as if they're hypocrites.
This is where we'll be ending the first segment of the show, Ghana Talks Breakfast Show on Ghana Talks Radio. We will be back very soon with the live coverage and discussion on the State of the Nation's address by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. So stay tuned with us as we take a break and join you soon.